the way to do this is actually you can use, so in this graphics lesson we're talking about, we're using, I'm gonna tape this because some people were out sick. You can use this, but stuff that's actually within the public domain. And you can use stuff that's actually within the private domain, again, a private user, a company, a media outlet, as long as you get permission for it, okay? Okay, so, you know, on those lines, when we would try to get something that's, again, this chart right here, this is the COVID chart. Again, this is within the public domain. This is something you can use, okay? But let's say I wanted to use like that Pennsylvania Turnpike crash video or something like that, or any other kind of graphic that's been built by somebody else. I would do something like probably write an email, call them up, that sort of thing, and ask. And basically, actually, a lot of places actually require that they provide like some sort of a written response agreeing to the use of this, okay? Some places, there's actually also another way you can actually like share information like that, and you can embed it. So let's see here. So you might get like photos, you might get like graphics. They're actually like put on Twitter. You know, you might get accidents, things like that. Yeah. I mean, you don't get like the most creative like photos on Twitter, but sometimes you do. Sometimes there's actually a private user who will do it. So if it's not within the public domain, you still should ask for permission, even if it's embedded. It's actually up to the news organization. Some say that you have to get permission if it's to embed, and some say you don't. What's the difference between embedding and actually like lifting the photo itself? Well, embedding is actually kind of, for a lot of people, like basically saying that you're giving it up to the public. If you're willing to actually put it on social media, then you're basic, and embedding is actually viewed as kind of like a fine line where you can actually, it's allowable to use. So, and then you usually go over here, it says embed tweet, and then it gives you the coding right here. Okay. But we're not going to worry about embedding in this class. We're just going to worry about what's fair use and what's not. And basically, if you have a photo like this, that's on the Garden State Parkway, and you're looking for just like some sort of stock traffic photo, and it's their photo, you can use it because it's a public agency. But if it's somebody who, let's see here, who's just like on the side of the highway, and they get something like that, you know, or they get something like that, you know, or, you know, obviously a news outlet. I've actually gone to news outlets a number of times, and actually, believe it or not, even if they're in competition with us, they've actually allowed us to use the photo. You know, you get permission, okay? Here's a graphic right here, okay? This basically shows the morning commute. So basically, this looks like it's coming from, again, a private website. So you want to get permission if you want to use it, okay? That's how we get our graphics. That's how we get a lot of our photos these days, okay? So your assignment actually is to do just basically that, is to actually supply a graphic for your story, okay? And I chose weather as a topic because weather is probably the most popular, is actually the most popular, I would say, topic on the web. It's amazing. I mean, when I used to actually do this when I worked for Patch. I can't do this anymore, but I have a thing that actually keeps track of the number of people clicking on a website. I had a thing that basically kept track of the number of people clicking on a website at one time, and I would actually demonstrate to them. Can't do that now because I don't work for Patch anymore, but I would actually post like a weather story, like maybe like snow outside that particular class day, and I would post a weather story, and you could actually see the numbers go zoop, like that. So So why do you think weather is actually like most popular, probably the most popular story on the web? Yeah, I mean, even these days where everybody's like working at home, you know, they're worried about what the roads are going to be like. They're worried about if they could still. A lot of people go back to their jobs. A lot of people have to go to the store. A lot of people have to get their kids to school, that sort of thing. And it's not just that. It's like, you know, like today is what, probably about 45, 48 degrees, right? It's like one of those days where you don't know whether to like, you know, bring a jacket along with you, you know? Because then like by the end of the day, it could be like 60 and you're tugging like this gigantic thing, you know? So that weather probably affects our daily routines more than anything. Everybody see my assignment up here? I see your head's covered down. I have to just ask, okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, weather is a very popular topic on the web. People are always looking for some sort of idea as to what their commute will be like, how their vacations should be planned. Okay, or even what clothes they should wear or shop in the weeks ahead. The difference here is that in addition to writing the story, you'll need to supply a usable graphic. So you'll do that, basically you would submit the story and the graphic, and that's all I'm asking for this assignment. No photo, no video, nothing like that, okay? And again, that's something that is typically in the public domain. It doesn't violate copyright laws, but it adds an important visually friendly layer to our story, okay? So what I want you guys to do is basically write a story that shows like the outlook for the next couple of weeks. All right. I mean, it could be like bright and sunny. It could be rain coming. Okay. Just basically something that kind of gives people an indication like how what's coming up. Okay. Yep.
Like do all that below 500 words? Is that okay, or do you have to fit the word?
Yeah. I think. I mean, again, I'm actually a little flexible. If you have like a strong 480 or something like that, it's fine. But there's actually going to be like more to this story than that. So you should be good. And actually, we're going to interview each other in class. Maybe I'll wait till next time to do that because I see that, you know, we don't have a lot of people here, or I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so yeah, this is how maybe you can build up to that area. Basically, say you find it from, so here's what you need to do. You find information from respectable news sites that exist on the web and elsewhere. The Weather Channel, the National Weather Service, AccuWeather. So you don't necessarily get now, the Weather Channel is a private website. The National Weather Service is part of the federal government, so it's not, so you can use that stuff. And AccuWeather is a private website, okay? So basically, whatever written information you get from these websites, you should attribute no matter what, right? But if you get graphics, you should only go here, okay? I'll show you what I'm talking about in a bit. Because that is, again, the national, that is the an arm of the federal government, okay? And it spells out the weather for the next couple of weeks. The outlook will be your lead, okay? You know, I would say please consult with me, whatever site you do use, because some people might go outside of these. And there's a number of, as I call them, trash sites out there. You know, basically like, you know, where people actually pretend to be weather forecasters and stuff like that. But, you know, I think they like either, you know, that's another lesson of this class is basically knowing where to go, knowing what sources are out there that are legitimate, you know. Again, make sure to attribute what information you get to whatever sources you use. Typically, the sources are very sensitive about supplying information to other news sources. Like those are like, especially the private ones. So you want to make sure that you say according to the Weather Channel, or according to AccuWeather, or according to, you know, Channel 4 News or something like that. According to NJ.com, even, you know, you could use other like newspaper sources. Okay. And then as a matter of fact, I'm going to ask you to do this, but they typically even want their sites, if you use information from their sites, they want them hyperlinked. Okay, that like what we demonstrated on the web the other day. We basically like you basically have a link within the story that link, you know, basically goes to another story. Okay, we're gonna do more of that as we get closer to the due date. Okay. In the paragraphs below the lead, please supplies whatever information I got from those sources for the reasons why these weather patterns. I mean, it might be like some sort of, I don't know, something to do with climate change. It might have something to do with the fact that we're just changing seasons. There's been talk about like this thing called the polar vortex, which actually is a climate change thing, where we're actually getting colder weather later in the season and milder weather in the middle of the winter season. Isn't that weird? Because the polar ice caps are melting, basically. So what they're doing is they're moving like winter air. It's actually causing a bit of a delay. I can't really get into the scientific explanation, but basically that's what's happening here. You know, we've had like situations where there's been snow in March in recent years, but not in January. You know, so we've had snow in November and not in January, right? Okay, and then this should help build up, because then build up, you know, information in your story, because I'm going to ask you to interview 2 or 3 students, just basically, God bless you, to, you know, talk about how they feel about the weather, how they feel. I mean, today again, it was a little chilly. I mean, it's April now. You kind of expect to actually like take off your coat now, right? And then also, I mean, when I've done this story in recent years, yes, we still have to worry about COVID a little bit. People are kind of like, you know, they would feel a little freer if they felt like they could take off their mask more. Now maybe we can add in the fact that Rutgers actually changed its rules a little bit. And, you know, maybe this will make people feel a little freer, you know, with the weather getting warmer. And, you know, a lot of, I mean, another thing that also that's come up is that, you know, people like to still go outside, do stuff, you know, because they're afraid of catching COVID indoors or something like that. That's still a thing somewhat. So you might, you know, want to talk about that. You know, I'm just trying to give you some ideas of what to focus on. That's all. Yeah, like I said, I strongly use for the graphic, urge you to go to the National Weather Service. Okay. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yes, and I know 500, 800 words for this story. Okay. I think you can get there. Okay. But you know, if you need any help, just let me know. We'll be working on it in class. Okay. So anyway, the National Weather Service is where we always went for like graphics. And once you go to when you go to their page, they have one like right in front of your face. It's right here. You can look at the screen here. Everybody. Okay, so they show you actually, you know, the whole country, right? All right. So what you want to do is you want to go to our area right here. So you just basically kind of click around here. Okay, thank you. All right. Hey, and when it's white like that, that usually means things are going to be nice today. Okay. But over the weekend, I think we actually had a winter weather advisory, if I'm not mistaken. So you want to look for things like that. Like when you want to look ahead, what's happening ahead. What you do is you click on that area, and then what you do is maybe you click right here, where New Brunswick is right here, by the way. Okay. So you click on the New Brunswick area right here. And what they'll actually do is they'll actually give you a forecast. Okay. So you can get information like right here. This actually, this could be like several paragraphs of your story right here. You basically just say, if you were to start writing this, you know what's funny is actually, I just realized the next 2 weeks and the story is due a week from now, but whatever. Just basically, you can kind of look ahead. By the time you write the story, you'll probably see it, you know, more of next week, I'm sure. So anyway, you could just basically say like, okay, on Tuesday, this is supposed to happen, showers. Wednesday, this, you know, just basically this could like fill up your story paragraph by paragraph here. Okay. See, there's a lot of rain this week. Okay. Showers, 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 you know, April showers bring me flowers. Please avoid that cliche. Okay. So there's information like right here. Okay. To help build up your story, it's 45 degrees right now. Okay. What I want you to do is actually, I want you to go around this site and like look for stuff that you could use as a graphic. It's not the most user-friendly site in the world, okay? If you like click, if you go around to these different categories right here, okay, actually probably the best place to go is forecasts, okay? All right, and then if you go down to actually here, you'll see like, you know, keep your eye on things like over the next week, if like winter weather is coming or something like that. You click on winter weather, it'll actually show you some stuff, like here's a graphic you could steal. It's in the public domain. Basically shows you the expected snowfall coming. And as you can see, there's no snowfall coming, okay? I doubt you're gonna have an issue with snow. Severe weather, that's like another place where you can like get a graphic, okay? And you know, there could be a storm coming up, okay? This actually could get a little confusing. But if you actually like go down, if you roll down your cursor here, you actually will see the New Jersey area, and you'll actually see that actually, whoops. You'll actually see that New Jersey really has nothing coming as of right now. That green area down there, right here. I mean, later in the week, this actually looks like there is like a storm that could happen in this area. So it's thunder. Okay. So this actually something usually this is a good place to go to get your prediction for like severe weather. Okay. When it gets to like yellow, that usually is like a little bit of a warning sign, slight, even though it says slight. Okay. They say like yellow, that means the storms are coming. Okay. Over the next couple of days. All right. And that's actually under, let me put this under. Yeah. Day 2 outlook. Now we're in the Philadelphia area. Okay. You're wondering, we're in actually the Philadelphia geographical area, believe it or not. Most of New Jersey actually is in this is actually considered the Philadelphia geographical weather area, and this is considered New York. Okay, so this part right here, this is Newark. Okay, this is Union County right here, which is right next door. That's like Plainfield and Westfield and all that. All right, Bergen County, that sort of thing. But we're right here. Okay, we're right around here. So we're just under that line. So we're in the if you're looking for stuff for our area, we're in the Philadelphia area. Okay. All right. So do you have any questions on that? We'll be doing this in class, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions. Okay. All right. I'll be looking over people's shoulders and stuff like that. Okay. I mean, you can get information from here. This is the National Weather Service again, but you don't want to take their graphics because it's a private company. Okay. So anyway, they're usually like a little more dramatic. Days of severe weather ahead, damaging winds, tornadoes, hail possible. They go for the jugular. They love that, but they're not a government website. So, but you can get information from here. Maybe click on the story, see if this applies to New Jersey. Again, it's a little bit early, like the story's due in a week. So maybe you save getting this stuff until later in the week. Looks like they were talking about some wind damage here. March 30th, that's going back a little bit. Okay. 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 Probably, you know, there's actually usually there are places where you can go. You go monthly. This is where you can find out what the weather is going to be like the next 2 weeks, okay, or the next 3 weeks, whatever. You go to monthly, okay, and they will actually have the predictions, even though they're way ahead in a lot of ways, for the next couple of weeks in April, okay? And it looks like, just like the National Weather said, there's going to be a lot of wet rain coming. See, that's next week, all right? Then you go down, and I don't know how they're able to predict that far ahead. And it's supposed to be kind of cloudy. So this is actually like this week, the next week, and the following week, okay? When you click on a particular day, they give you a little more information, you know, what the temperatures expect to be. Like April 14th, it could be as low as 27 degrees. My God. So, and this is Avenel, they're actually going by Woodbridge, which is close by. So another place that has information like this is AccuWeather. It's trusted. It's a website run out of Penn State University, but it's actually not a Penn State University website. Okay, so let's see here. Just click on here. I'm just curious to see what this says. Okay, so that's actually like snow in the Midwest. Okay, I don't really see anything like here. But what you can do is you can actually like search, or let's see here. Well, actually, they do have New Jersey. This is located here, so they typically they'll show you like what's going on locally. Okay, you know, Atlantic hurricane forecast. Well, that's a little too far ahead. All right. All right. So, I mean, there's information throughout these sites. Okay. And like I said, I can like look over your shoulder and basically making sure, guide you and making sure that you're going to the right places. Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions on that? No. Okay. I basically gave you the answer. Well, they'll basically there's going to be rain over the next week and a half, and it's going to be partly cloudy the following week. So basically, you have to find a way to like write a lead that basically reflects that. You know, basically try to keep in mind like, okay, if I'm sit in the seat or stand in the shoes of somebody who's like, again, like whatever, going to college or commuting or whatever, and they gotta go to work, they gotta close the word, that sort of thing, and try to compartmentalize that into like a one sentence lead. Basically something along the lines of New Jersey residents should expect. That could be your start for the story. Okay. All right. I would say probably wait till the end of the week to actually get the graphic. And I mean, the graphic could be this. It could be, if it looks like this, oh, sorry. You could actually snapshot this graphic right here, basically telling you that things are going to be a-okay the next couple of days. Okay. Or it could be like something like this, that's actually, again, showing that things are going to be pretty good for the next couple of days. I'm actually trying to think, when are things like, I probably should have pulled this up earlier. Snow patch. I can show you when things are going to be rough. And they'll actually will have an advisory. And then that's actually when the map gets colorful. Yeah. I mean, that's that. Remember that map I showed you earlier as to expected snow? Well, yeah. Dark blue is like a lot. Okay. Pale blue is not as much. And then you got almost white. Okay. So that's when like, that's when you can actually, that's when you actually have like they do this with rainstorms too and everything that are actually pretty heavy. They'll actually have a colorful map that basically will show you what's expected to happen, based on the amount of snow. I'm trying to find actually one that actually shows the, again, they have different alerts like winter weather advisory, bomb cyclone. Yeah, Connecticut didn't do it. Let's see. Just give me a second here. There you go. Right there. So that looks a lot different from that map that looked white, right? So you have a winter storm warning here, right? And this looks out a couple of days ahead, okay? And then you have a winter weather advisory, which is not as severe, okay? Right here, all right? And then there's a winter storm watch, which is actually a winter storm warning is the worst. Winter storm watch, they have explanation for why this is in the site itself. And then that's actually next worst. And then this one, that's the winter weather advisory, okay? All right. Maybe have any questions on that? You see what we did here, we just literally like snapshot this. If you have an Apple computer, you can do this easily. If you don't, then there's other ways of doing that, we can figure that out, but basically, that's all we did. This is the graphic for the story. This supplies additional layer of important information for people to have, okay? Okay. Where that graphic goes, it all depends. I mean, I'm just asking you guys to send me the story and the graphic. I'm not asking you to place it anywhere in the story. A lot of places will put it at the very top of the story. Because maybe it looks a little, I mean, look at that picture right there. It looks pretty dramatic, doesn't it? Red. You know? Here's another one. I guess, what is this one? This one shows the amount of time coming in, or what time is this, the snow is supposed to hit. That's another graphic we snapshot. Okay. It's something we embedded. All right. It came from a police website, and it was actually a photo they took. So, but anyway, we're just worried about this is the graphics. Okay. And then sometimes we put them in the middle of the story, the beginning of the story, or even the end of the story. Okay. Okay. Or just like we just scatter them through the story. Okay. CNJ.com, if you actually look today, there's always a weather story up, even if it's like nice out. So I call it up today. I said, I bet there's a weather story, and there is. Winter brings brief return with coating of snow in New Jersey. Really? I didn't know that. They always leave it kind of general because they make people think, people down in southern New Jersey think that maybe they got snow or something. I gotta check that. So we made a snowman in Sussex County, which is the very northern top of the state. But they actually got a layer of snow up there with pictures. And look, they got, that's probably a local resident. They probably got permission to use that photo. Okay. There's always a weather story. I did a search right here. I just did New Jersey snow coming, and this is what I got. I got like stories going way back. You know, there's so many of them. Okay. If you just do New Jersey weather, I mean, you'll see like weather.com. That's actually the weather channel. Okay. I mean, I may help you direct you in the area of you're trying to find information for our area. Okay. It's on Twitter. You know, there's not a lot of weird weather expected, so there's not a lot of stories right now. You know, if you do just news, you'll see that coating of snow. Well, this is from last week. There was some thunderstorms expected. Okay, so that's old. A lot of the stories are actually now old, but anyway. So that's so what I'm saying is that basically you can find it anywhere on the web, and because it's always popular, people are always looking for it. Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? We're all good. Okay. It's actually the Philadelphia Mount Holly area. That's actually the area we're in. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. So anyway, that'll be due on Monday. Okay. And that will actually be our last story before we do our final story, which I call the data journalism assignment. That'll be more involved. Make sure more people are in class for that. All right. So yeah. So we actually will have a total of 7 assignments this semester. So, and then you know, what I can do is I can actually break down that grading for you right now, what that means. So let me just actually like figure something out here. So 5 plus 2, 7 plus 4 is 11. All right. Yeah, 9%, 9.1%. Okay. So this is how grading will work. Okay. Let me just do it this way because it's easier than using the board, okay? Okay. Okay, all right, so as I talked about before, I grade on progress here, okay? So I have a total of 7 assignments. So this is the second to last assignment, which means actually we'll count more than previous assignments, okay? If you look back at the assignments we had, this is actually the student view right here, so which is actually a little bit confusing, but okay, so we had our first graded assignment, which was a profile on somebody you know, okay? So what does that mean? That means that counted essentially profile, I counted 1 time, okay? I'll explain what that means in a minute. Then we had our worksheets. I counted 1, okay? And then we have, oh yeah, COVID mandates, of course. A little too big. Let me like cut the size of this down. Okay. Okay. All right. Hold on. COVID. I counted 1 time. Okay. Then I think it was what, Murphy? Right? Story. Right. 1 time. And then right. Oh yeah, then we have Megalomania, which don't forget is due today. Due at the end of today. Let me know if you have any questions on that. By now you should have everything you need for that. A bunch of people did not the other day, so I kind of urged them on, and then Bill got a flood of questions, which is fine. I counted 1 time. So those were our first Megalomania. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to remember everything here. That's the 5th assignment. What am I forgetting here? 6, right, okay. So 5 assignments there, they count each 1 time, okay? Now we got our graphic, our weather graphic story, okay? So what that's gonna do is that's gonna count twice as much. Not twice as much as all of these, but twice as much as 1 of these, okay? All right. And then the data journalism assignment, which will be our final assignment, which I'll explain probably next week, that will count 4 times, okay? So what does that mean? Basically, it breaks down to this. So 70, so you're writing your written assignments and videos and all that stuff. That's 70% of your overall grade, okay? So within that 70%, you have these assignments, okay? So if that counts 1 time, that means that, what does that mean? I know it's gonna be confusing, I'm sorry. That means that counts 9.1% of your of your 70%, okay? This one counts 9.1% of that 70%. This one counts 9.1%. This one counts 9.1%, okay? This one counts 9.1%. This one counts twice, so it counts 18.2%. Okay, of that 70%, okay? And then this one counts 4 times. So that means it'll count, oh boy, here we go, 36.4% of that 70%. Kind of, 1/3 basically of your written grade, okay? This will be about this data journalism will be about 1/3 of your written grade. This weather assignment, graphic assignment will be about 1/6 of your written grade, okay? Everybody have that? Okay. Again, the idea is progress, that like I've had people who just started off with like a really weak grades at the beginning. And by the time they get to this point, they're very strong. They've moved along much more rapidly. They've progressed very well. And then, so these count better and count more, okay? All right. All right. We don't have a lot of people today. How do we just end it there? Okay. All right.